Have you ever wondered how some people manage to stay calm in the midst of chaos? The 10 Buddhist principles we'll explore today teach exactly that: how to develop an inner peace so strong that nothing external can shake you. These teachings aren't about avoiding challenges, but about facing life with calmness and clarity, turning insults and chaos into opportunities for growth. Let's dive into these principles and discover how to cultivate an unshakable mind and a peace that comes from within. Maintaining inner peace in the midst of chaos seems almost impossible, doesn't it? Imagine being in a crowd where everyone is frantic, yelling, and there you are in the middle, like a calm, unshakable lake. Inner peace is one of the greatest gifts we can cultivate, and Buddhism teaches that it doesn't depend on the environment around you, but on how you respond to it. Picture a storm raging outside, but inside you, there's only a gentle breeze. It's not that problems disappear. They simply lose the power to disturb your essence. When we learn to see challenges as silent teachers, our hearts become immune to the world's noise. It's funny how life seems to constantly test this inner peace. An insult here, a dirty look there, and suddenly, your heart starts racing. But what if you could go through all this like someone walking in the rain without getting wet? The secret lies in practicing the 10 Buddhist principles, which prepare the mind and spirit to handle these situations with resilience. When someone throws harsh words at you, it's like tossing stones into the ocean. Ripples appear. Soon the calm returns. Maintaining inner peace doesn't mean avoiding problems, but rather handling them without losing your center. Self-discipline and acceptance are powerful allies on this journey. Imagine someone going through a deeply challenging situation, a financial loss or personal disappointment. If that person has cultivated self-discipline, they'll be able to see beyond the chaos and find a point of balance. It's as if life is a long walk through nature. Sometimes the path is rugged, other times it's smooth. The important thing is to remember that no matter how dark the storm may be, you have the power within to turn chaos into an opportunity for growth and gratitude. Dealing with insults can be one of the greatest tests of inner peace anyone can face. Often, harsh words are thrown with the intent to hurt. Buddhism teaches that the power of those words depends entirely on how you receive them. Think of an insult as a spark that can only start a fire if it finds fuel. If you choose not to give it importance, the spark dies before it spreads. The key is understanding that the words coming from someone else's mouth reflect their state of mind, not yours. This changes everything because you stop reacting and start observing calmly. In practice, handling insults is like facing waves in a calm lake. They come, disturb the surface, but soon the water returns to its original tranquility. If someone insults you, don't let anger or hurt take over your heart. Instead, try to see the situation with compassion. That person might be struggling with their own internal issues and projecting that pain onto you. A practical example of this would be, instead of responding with more aggression, offering a smile or simply remaining silent. This doesn't mean you're accepting the insult, but rather that you've chosen not to feed into that negative energy. Cultivating self-discipline in this context is crucial. The natural first reaction when insulted is to retaliate, but self-discipline teaches us to hold back that impulsiveness. Remember, your inner peace is worth more than any argument. Practicing resilience in the face of offensive words is like building an unshakable wall within yourself. And acceptance also plays an important role here. Accepting that you can't control what others say or do, but you can control how you respond. This is the real power, and with it, no insult will be able to throw you off balance. Seeing everyone as teachers is one of the most powerful teachings in Buddhism. Think about the difficult people who cross your path. They are there for a reason, perhaps to test your patience, compassion, or even your resilience. Each encounter, especially those that seem challenging, brings a lesson. It's easy to learn from those who treat us well, but the real masters are the ones who awaken our weaknesses and force us to look within. When you realize that even that annoying colleague has something to teach, your entire worldview shifts. This principle acts like a mirror. The more you reflect on the reactions certain people provoke in you, the more you learn about yourself. A person who is impatient may teach you to practice more inner peace, and someone who is envious can teach you to appreciate what you already have. The next time you find yourself face to face with someone who provokes you, try shifting your perspective. Instead of getting upset, ask yourself, what is this person trying to teach me? Seeing everyone as teachers doesn't mean accepting negative behavior, but rather turning those situations into opportunities for growth. Gratitude plays a key role in this learning. Being grateful, even for challenging experiences, changes the way you handle them. A practical example would be when someone gives you harsh criticism. Instead of shutting down or reacting defensively, you can use the critique as an invitation to improve, whether it's in your work, relationships, or any other aspect of life. In this way, even insults and difficulties become part of a personal growth journey, guided by a deeper understanding of human nature and acceptance. The more you open yourself to this, the lighter your path will become. Envy is an emotion everyone has felt at some point. However, Buddhism teaches us that we can transform this negative energy into a force for growth. Imagine that instead of letting envy eat away at you, you use it as inspiration. When you admire someone's success and ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Envy loses its destructive power. Instead of comparing yourself and suffering, you turn the other person's success into an opportunity for personal evolution. The key lies in changing your perspective. A practical example is that coworker who always seems one step ahead. Instead of letting envy paralyze you, observe their attitudes and what they do differently. Perhaps it's self-discipline, resilience, or a way of handling challenges that you can apply in your own life. By observing and learning, you'll realize that others' success can be a powerful tool for transformation, rather than a trigger for frustration. This process is like planting a seed. Instead of competing, you cultivate your own growth, inspired by those who have already reaped the rewards. Gratitude plays a crucial role in this journey. By being grateful for others' success, you create space for your own. This doesn't mean passively accepting everything around you, but using what you see as a compass for your progress. Buddhism teaches us to view life as an individual journey that is also interconnected. Therefore, someone else's growth doesn't diminish yours. On the contrary, it can be the push you needed to reach new levels of inner peace and fulfillment. Transforming envy into growth is about focusing on your journey and using your environment as fuel for your evolution. Self-discipline is one of the most solid foundations for achieving inner peace, but the true challenge lies in balancing it with compassion for others. Buddhism teaches us to be firm with ourselves, always striving for our best, while at the same time being tolerant and understanding of others' mistakes and weaknesses. Think of an athlete who trains tirelessly. They are rigorous in their own development, but when they look at others, they understand that everyone is at their own pace. This balance is the key to living in harmony with yourself and the world around you. When you practice self-discipline, especially in moments of temptation or adversity, you are building an inner fortress. However, compassion comes into play when you realize that not everyone is on the same journey as you. Someone might fail, frustrate, or irritate you, but that doesn't mean you should judge them as harshly as you judge yourself. Instead, offer patience and understanding. In practice, this could mean listening attentively to someone, even when you completely disagree, or giving a second chance when everything inside you screams to close the door. Acceptance is fundamental in this process. By accepting that every person has their own challenges and lessons, you develop a broader, more compassionate view of life. Self-discipline without compassion can lead to coldness and isolation, while compassion without self-discipline can result in chaos and disorder. The balance between the two is like walking a tightrope. It requires constant focus and attention, but once you find the rhythm, life flows with more lightness and inner peace. And the more you practice, the more natural this balance becomes. Resilience is the ability to stay strong in the face of adversity, and Buddhism teaches that no one can hurt us without our consent. In other words, what matters is not what happens around us, but how we react to it. Think of a tree swaying in the wind but still standing tall. Similarly, resilience is built by cultivating a strong mind capable of facing life's storms without being knocked down. This requires practice, mindfulness, and above all, the self-discipline not to be swept away by emotions. A practical example of resilience is when we face criticism or disapproval, whether at work or in our personal lives. Instead of being shaken by these words, the resilient person sees them as feedback, as an opportunity for growth. This approach is not about ignoring the pain, but about not allowing it to dictate your state of mind. By practicing resilience, you learn to accept that challenges are part of the journey, and that with each obstacle overcome, you become stronger. As Buddhism reminds us, wounds only turn into scars if we keep touching them constantly. Acceptance of what cannot be controlled is one of the keys to developing this resilience. When you stop fighting external circumstances and focus on strengthening your inner self, the world around you begins to have less negative impact. Just as in nature, where each season has its purpose, life follows a natural flow of highs and lows. True resilience arises when you learn to dance with this flow, remaining flexible and open to the lessons each moment brings. In this way, life becomes less about what happens and more about how you choose to respond. Acceptance of life's flow is one of the most profound principles in Buddhism. When you resist reality, you create frustration and suffering, but by accepting things as they are, without judgment, you find freedom. Imagine the water in a river. It flows, moving around rocks and obstacles, never stopping. Acceptance teaches us to do the same in life, allowing challenges to come and go without clinging to them. This doesn't mean passivity, but rather an understanding that by accepting what cannot be changed, you gain the energy to focus on what you can transform. Accepting life's flow is like learning to surf. You can't control the size of the waves, but you can learn how to ride them. A practical example would be when we face loss or a great disappointment. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. When you accept that not everything is within your control, life becomes lighter. Instead of fighting what has already happened, you can redirect your energy toward finding solutions, or at the very least, learning from the experience. This acceptance brings inner peace because it frees you from the need for absolute control. Nature teaches us this lesson of acceptance every day. Trees don't shrink in fear of winter. They simply accept it and prepare for what's to come. In the same way, humans, by embracing life's cycles, can live in harmony with the world around them. Acceptance is the bridge to resilience, as stopping the fight against the flow makes you stronger and better equipped to face challenges with clarity and gratitude. When this happens, inner peace becomes your natural state, regardless of the circumstance. Living in accordance with nature is more than just admiring the landscapes around you. It's about aligning your life with the natural rhythms of the world, respecting the cycles of rest and activity as taught in Buddhism. Just as the sun rises and sets, we too need moments to shine and others to recharge our energy. When you follow these natural rhythms, you experience inner peace and harmony because you're not fighting against the natural flow of life. Nature constantly reminds us of the importance of finding balance and respecting our own limits. A practical example would be adjusting your work and rest routines according to your daily energy levels. Just as the seasons change, we also go through cycles. There are days when we're more productive and others when we need a break. By respecting these moments and not forcing results when your mind and body are asking for rest, you are practicing this principle of living in harmony with nature. Additionally, adopting eco-conscious habits like recycling or planting trees not only aligns you with the natural cycle, but also contributes to collective well-being. Living in accordance with nature also means accepting the imperfections and fluctuations life presents. Just as the weather can shift from sunny to cloudy within minutes, our emotions and experiences also vary. By understanding and accepting these changes without resistance, we find an inner peace that allows us to flow with life, rather than cling to expectations. Thus, living in tune with nature is an invitation to respect your own cycles, and in doing so, you become more resilient and grateful each phase of life. Living an ethical life is one of the most important principles in Buddhism, as it involves honesty, kindness, and respect in all of our interactions. It's not just about following rules, but acting in alignment with values that promote collective well-being. When you live ethically, you generate positive karma, which not only improves your relationships, but also fosters inner peace. Imagine a life where you carry no guilt or regret, because your actions have always been guided by pure and genuine intention. That's the power of living ethically. A practical example of an ethical life can be seen in the small actions of everyday life. Being honest at work, even when no one is watching. Treating others with respect, even when you're frustrated. These behaviors build a solid foundation of trust and integrity. When you make an effort to act with kindness, whether it's toward a stranger or a friend, you're planting the seeds of a more harmonious environment around you. The more you practice these principles, the more natural it becomes to live this way, generating not only inner peace, but also peace in your relationships. Ethical living is also closely connected to resilience, as acting in accordance with your values strengthens you, even when facing adversity. Gratitude for living an honorable life grows over time as you witness the positive impact your ethical choices have on the world. Ethics become a path that not only brings inner harmony, but also influences the behavior of everyone around you, creating a virtuous cycle of peace and respect. By adopting these principles, you align with the natural flow of life, where every action reflects the universe's balance. Gratitude is a powerful practice that can transform the way we see the world around us. Buddhism teaches us to be grateful, not just for the big events in life, but also for the small blessings that often go unnoticed. Imagine waking up in the morning and giving thanks simply for being alive, for the light breeze on your face, or for the taste of a meal. When we practice gratitude regularly, our mind adjusts to focus on what we have, not on what we lack. This generates an inner peace that helps us navigate life's difficulties with more ease. A practical example of this is taking a moment at the end of each day to reflect on 3 things you are grateful for. They don't need to be grand. It could be a friend's smile, a kind message, or even the fact that you completed a challenging task. By doing this, you train your mind to recognize the value in the small things. What happens is, the more you give thanks, the more you realize how truly blessed you are. Gratitude shifts the focus from scarcity to abundance, and that alone is a huge emotional relief. Gratitude for small blessings also brings us closer to nature and the simplicity of life. When you appreciate the sound of rain or the smell of wet earth, you're in tune with the natural flow of the universe. This makes you feel more connected to something greater, generating a deep sense of contentment. And by practicing gratitude, you open yourself to receiving even more from life, because the energy you emit is one of acceptance and recognition. This is the positive cycle Buddhism invites us to experience, a cycle where gratitude leads to more blessings, and blessings generate more gratitude. Letting go of control is one of the greatest challenges on the journey to inner peace, but it's also one of the most liberating teachings in Buddhism. We're often led to believe that if we can control everything around us, we'll find security and happiness. However, the truth is that this need for control imprisons us, generating anxiety and frustration. Buddhism teaches that by letting go of this need, we place more trust in the process of life. Imagine allowing yourself to flow with the currents of a river, without struggling against the stream. This is the state of inner peace that emerges when we accept that not everything is in our hands. A practical example of this principle is when you carefully plan something, but for some reason, things don't go as expected. Instead of getting stuck in frustration, you can practice letting go of the outcome. This doesn't mean you shouldn't put in effort, but rather that you should learn to loosen the reins and trust in what's to come. A simple exercise is to reflect at the end of each day on something you tried to control without success, and then consciously let it go. By doing this, you create space for inner peace to flourish. Letting go of control is also connected to the principle of gratitude. When you trust that things will unfold in the best possible way, even if it's not how you expected, you find reasons to be grateful for what you already have. Life's natural flow teaches us that by releasing control, we make room for new possibilities, often better than those we had imagined. In practicing this release, you align with life's fluidity, allowing inner peace to become your natural state, unaffected by external disturbances. Now that you're familiar with the 10 Buddhist principles, the next step is to apply them in your daily life. Observe how you respond to challenges. Practice calmness, gratitude, and release control over what you cannot change. Every difficult situation can become an opportunity for growth. Subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to continue learning and transforming your life. Your journey to inner peace begins now.